Hello, everybody. This is Jerry Serino from the Median Podcast. Thank you, as always, for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here, whether you're on any of the podcast apps or you're on YouTube, where you can find all of our episodes, Rumble as well, or you're watching from our website, fromthemedian.org. We are so glad you're here, and we appreciate you very, very much. I'd also ask you to check out Cleveland Right to Life on any of the social media apps that are out there as well. I post a lot of our guests on the social media apps and everything, and we appreciate you following, liking, and so on and so forth, because the more you do, the more the word gets out. And speaking of social media, I have what I will consider or is considered a influencer, a content creator. We have a lot of them on, but most importantly, a strong conservative who was fighting for the same things that we are all fighting for. Her name is Meghan, and she kind of goes by Maga Meg, which tells you a little bit about her, and she's here to just talk about what she's doing. Meghan, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I
Yeah.
am the hot mess, as you saw, getting ready to get on here.
Well, you're a mom. You're out there in this world, doing the things that moms and dads do every single day, and we appreciate you taking the time. I really do. Thanks for coming here. So I like getting people on that are, we consider influencers, who are out there using social media to get the word out, right? Because
Yeah.
before social media, people like you and me, we really had no voice outside of the voting booth and, other limited ways, maybe writing a letter to the editor. Now this allows just anyone and everyone who wants to get out there and say, hey, here's what I believe, here's what I'm fighting for. And that is really important. So give me a little bit of background on you. Is whatever you're willing to give, as far as, you told me you were from Oklahoma. Tell me about your life, what you do. You got kids, all that good stuff.
Well, I guess I'll just start at the beginning. I
Please
grew
do.
up in Oklahoma, where all the cows are and the football.
Hmm.
Small town, very small town, Oklahoma. And I was always really socially awkward, but I always had this personality that was like, blah, and crazy.
Yeah.
um, and it was hard being in a small town being like that because people judge and
Hmm.
all of that loveliness. But so when I was 19, they had found a baseball sized tumor in my brain. And that changed my whole life. And I had about 6 to 8 brain surgeries. They weren't able to get it all. And I like to say that that's what made me how I am, but I've always been this weird. I have a beautiful son who wants to be in the Air Force when he grows up, so I'm super proud. He's 12 and he is so smart, loves American history, battles, all of that. Um, I actually was a never Trumper for a long
Okay.
time. Once I got out of high school and in college, and you grow up and you start paying attention to what's happening in the world. And I just didn't like him. Even before politics, I didn't like his personality, the way he spoke. But I also was a liberal during that
Okay.
time. Um, and then, my husband and my father, they've always been Trump supporters, conservative. Um, we never really fought about it. We just never talked about it. And my husband was like, "You know what? I'm going to challenge you to do something, and I'm not telling you that you have to believe how I believe, but I want you to take one of Trump's speeches and I want you to watch it from beginning to end, the whole way through, and tell me what you think." And I did that. And I was shocked at how misled I was by the media, because they would put out little sound bites and twist it in a way that just really demonized him in my mind. So then I'm like, what else have I been lied to about? and I start getting on social media, and I found TikTok. I actually was doing videos on Facebook for a while that were
Yeah.
like stay-at-home mom videos, grocery shopping, nothing political at all.
Yeah.
Then I moved to TikTok, and the political stuff is thick over there, especially back in the 2020-ish time. And I saw like maybe 10 conservative creators that they're very big and loud and awesome. And the things that they were saying, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is how I feel. This is what's right. This is what America should be about."
Yeah.
And so then I thought, "You know what? I'm just going to make a profile." And it all happened really fast at the same time where I converted to MAGA and became a Trump supporter and became MAGA Meg. It was pretty quick how it happened. And now all the things that I hated about Trump, I love. I love that he's brutally honest. You don't have to guess with him. He's gonna tell you whether you
Yeah.
want to know. Reminds me so much of my husband.
Yeah.
But
So I have a lot of questions. A couple things to note. Yeah, your tag on your profile on Instagram, at least, is MAGAMEG 45.47. We know what that means. And you have 195,000 followers, right? I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, that's really for your, you're not some well-known person on TV, right? And that's
mm-mm.
why I say, it's the power of social media that people like you and me can take advantage of that we didn't used to have. So I am curious though, you say you were a liberal before.
Mhm.
What were the issues that you looked at and said, this is why I'm liberal?
Oh man, that is tough because it's been a while since I've been in that mindset. I was not for borders like I am now. I used to believe we should let everybody in here and they should be allowed to live, and I believed in that. Not I've never admitted that before or told anybody that before, but yes, I was one of those. Um eh, I mean, the main liberal beliefs is what I was about. I when I tell you I made a complete 180, I mean it.
Yeah.
And I was brainwashed. I
Hmm.
didn't even know really
Yeah.
what was going on. I knew what I was being told, and that's what I believed. And COVID really helped me wake up. And I'm sorry to squirrel and go on a little tangent, but I was just thinking about this yesterday because my son has issues with social and school things ever since COVID. And I
Mm.
think that the way that they locked us all down, especially our kids, pulling them out of school and keeping them at home has caused so many issues for our kids, and I see it in my own child. Um Anyways, I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but
But you basically, so what, let's take an issue like this is a Cleveland Right to Life. This is a pro-life show. We cover all the life issues, and there are lots of them. Let's take an issue like abortion and tell me, what your attitude or feelings were before, what they are now, and what changed that.
so I used to be your body, your choice. I'm not proud, like, to say that
Hmm.
because of how firm I am in my beliefs now, but I truly was like, "Well, that's her body, that's her choice. If she wants to get rid of it, that's" and now to even say the phrase "get rid of it"
Hmm.
makes me nauseous because now I believe that that's murder, and especially up to late term. But back then, I was in the mindset I didn't think about the baby. I didn't think about that.
Hmm.
I thought about, her. Totally different opinion now, but I was more pro-choice back then.
And what changed you? Was it everything that you were seeing taking you from being a liberal to being a conservative, and this then became just another, not to say just, but another conservative issue that you felt that you were maybe lied to or not given the truth? Or was
Oh,
there, was it the birth of your son or,
mm.
something like that?
I was just about to say, when I got pregnant with my son, it's so hard to describe if you haven't felt that feeling of a life inside of you. Um, so that completely changed, like, that's a baby, that's a human life, it's not your choice to decide to end it. That's God's choice, and that baby's choice when, it's that's how I believe. So, yes, whenever I got pregnant, that's when I started to really soften and change my views, or I guess not soften, but get more firm. This is going to grow up to be a human being.
Hmm.
So, and it's funny, it's not funny, but it's ironic because there were members in my family that were urging me to get an abortion, because of my brain tumor, um, and because it was out of wedlock and Oklahoma and all that. But I couldn't do it. Before I got pregnant in that time, I probably would have considered it because that was what I believed back then. But yeah, once God gave me that blessing, completely changed.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear. I mean, and that's what we want, and we welcome people and understand that, especially with all the lies that are out there. There are a lot of things that people were told and they just believed and accepted. I see it all the time, and so they don't think that they're doing anything wrong or have the wrong opinion or a bad opinion.
Yeah.
So, uh, well, I want to ask then, what caused you to get, you do a lot of posts, and I see him here. Um, Tell me about, what motivated you to kind of jump out there and get this active on social media.
So it was kind of a domino effect. It was living under a Biden administration, because prior to that, I lived under a Trump one. And so then going through the Biden administration, I was like, what the crap is going on? So that living under different presidencies, seeing the difference in leadership and what was happening in our country, how things were being handled. And then, like I said, there were conservative creators that I was watching religiously at this point. My eyes were open. I was like, holy crap, I have been fooled for so long. And something in me was angry about that. I
Hmm.
was mad at myself, at the media, at people around me for like not pushing me harder to open my eyes and look into things, not just believe everything the TV tells me. Um, and so one day I make a video politically, and it just felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I also think about my son, the America that he's going to live in 10, 15, 20 years from now. If I can have some small part in making it better, then that's what I wanna do. Plus, everything is so heavy. The stuff that we've lived through, the stuff we're living through is so heavy. I wanna make it to where people will want to stay to watch, to learn. Because for me, uh, a lot of it wasn't entertaining. It was boring. I
Hmm.
didn't, life is hectic. Why do I need to care about this? So, me being wild and wacky and the swatters and all the props, there's a purpose to it. I'm not just doing it to be like that. I'm doing it for a reason. And a lot of times when I'm roasting a liberal or just showing how stupid their talking point is,
Yeah.
the way I'm acting is me mirroring their stupidity. Like, this is so ridiculous. Do you see how ridiculous this is? That's
Right.
what I'm
Right.
trying to do.
Yeah, no, I I think that's great. It's basically like you're using satire to make a point. So who are the influencers that you were listening to or watching that had the impact on you?
Oh, so it's crazy because this was back then, and now my top have kind of shifted a little bit. But back
Okay.
then, when I was first waking up, it was MAGA sassy, the older millennial. Um, I liked conservative aunt. I still do. Don't know why I said liked, but back then, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And Megan Eleanor. And this was, and a lot of my friends that I have now, they weren't content creators back then. So
Okay.
if they had been, I would say Claire Patriot, Lacey Lynn, Patriotic M. But Patriotic M was actually the biggest eye opener for me. Do you, because her videos where she would lip sync Biden and she would be in like a clown bow. It was so ridiculous, but it's kind of what I do now. It shows you how ridiculous that president was, but it also makes it entertaining. It grabs you in, it brings you in, while
Yeah.
also teaching you the truth. So, who else? I love Young Jeffrey. I don't know if you know Young Jeffrey. He's
Yeah,
amazing.
what's interesting is I haven't heard of any of those, and that's, that's just me. It's not, but I love the fact that there are all these unknown people out there that are doing things that are in fact influencing people. So that's fantastic, and I'm glad you're mentioning all them to get them plugs. So who is it that you are sort of listening to, or reading, or watching now? Is it what's the
I'm going to be so honest right now. Recently, like the last couple months, I haven't been scrolling as much just because for me, with school, football, all the things that are going on mentally, I just needed a little break from it all. But when I do scroll, it's Claire Patriot, Anthony Court, Recon to Recovery, Lacey Lynn, like I said. I mean, there's so many, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna feel bad if I don't list
Yeah,
all the ones I love, but
right.
we have such a good, powerful conservative community online. So I just urge people, if you love conservative content, get out there and find all of them because you're gonna learn a lot, but you're also gonna be entertained.
Yeah, no question. So I want to give you the names of a couple people, and I want you to tell me what sort of what your reaction is, or what you think about them. The first one is Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh God. Um. Oh, Rosie. I am not the biggest fan of hers.
Mm,
And I think I make that pretty clear in my videos, but
yeah.
I think it's a shame because I liked her, like, back in the '90s, her comedy when I
Hmm.
was young, because I was born in '91. But to see someone that I loved and respected in the comedy aspect turn into such a hateful, visceral, just nasty human being, I have no respect for her whatsoever anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, she's lost it. Trump derangement syndrome is that's a classic case. The next one is Eric Swalwell.
Oh, I don't like him. I mean, he's just the worst, and the things that he has done to women.
Yeah.
As somebody who was abused myself at a young age, when I find something out about someone like that, it's
Hmm.
done. I can't see you any other way.
Yeah. Who are then I'll ask you, like, who are some of the people? I'm scrolling through some of the videos that you've done, and I'm looking at the various people. Let me give you one more, and then I'll ask you to give me your maybe top one or two. So the last one is for me is
I honestly think she's a joke.
Mhm.
Um, the fact that anybody is considering her as a presidential candidate is beyond laughable to me.
Yeah.
And when she said they hate me because they ain't me and they just want to be me, I thought, what an embarrassment. If that was our president, no one would fear us. No one would respect us. I don't, she's just, ugh.
Yeah, I could only imagine her going to, all these foreign countries and dealing with all these foreign leaders and the like. It's shocking to me, but it's actually not shocking that she would be considered someone running, to run for president. I mean, they have Gavin Newsom, they ran Kamala Harris, who was a complete buffoon. Joe Biden, who of course had dementia, but wasn't any better when he didn't have dementia, right? I mean, he
Right.
wasn't any smarter he was still wrong on everything. But
Yeah.
okay, so in the last few minutes that we have, who are your, maybe top two or three people that you just are just disgusted by?
At the moment, Candace Owens,
Mm,
she's up there. Just the way she has behaved after Charlie's death, and it's a shame because I used to love her. Used to be a
hmm
huge fan, but now I can't even tolerate her voice. Um, AOC for sure, but we already said her. Let me see. Newscum. I
yeah,
really I think he's a lizard person. I
yeah,
I think he is of the devil. I don't like Newscum. Kamala, I think she's a train wreck, just like AOC would be the worst thing for the American people. And then there's Glitter Bomb down in Florida, Mark Davis. He's running for Congress.
hmm
I've never we have a that's another issue. We have a lot of crazy people running for office in our country. I think that's a big problem. But yeah, just
yeah. It's a serious problem. All these Democrat, they're calling them socialist. They're Marxists, and let's not hide it. That's who they are, and they're really. What's interesting is they're really not much different than the mainstream Democrat. To be perfectly frank, let's just call it what it is. Meghan Kizzia,
yeah.
also known as Maga Meg. Appreciate what you're doing out there. Just again, just an average person out there promoting conservative values in her own humorous and
Mhm.
goofy way. I'd suggest you follow her, Maga Meg 45.47, and you'll
Thank
get the
you for
drift.
having me.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. And thank all of you for listening to this episode of From the Median Podcast. We will see you next time.